Alright, so we're out here looking at this CT90 for a minute, and it had a sloppy clutch. Of course, that's a plethora of problems. Of course, it's no better than the Passport that we looked at. Actually, the Passport was in a shitload better condition than this one. This is definitely going to be quite the exodus to fix. At any rate, as I move this around the shop, I've noticed that, even without any power to the engine, the clutch is completely sloppy. It'll kick itself into gear on its own. I mean, it's nasty. And I wanted to assess that there wasn't something wrong with this, okay? There wasn't something internally happening that would cause it to do that. And one of the best ways to do that is to actually just go ahead and do the very basic 30-second freaking adjustment that is required to basically set this firm, okay? So what you do, and this applies to any semi-automatic clutch, so I mean, it doesn't matter the brand, it doesn't matter if it's a Chinese knockoff, it's been the same thing since the 60s. Maybe even if someone wants to edify me, maybe this was something that happened a lot earlier than the late 60s, but pretty much 9/16 you get in there. If you're up on your center stands and shit like that, and this has somehow been over torqued, which, I mean, really there's no way to do that unless you're just a freaking idiot. Get in there, fucking pull that off. You unscrew this bad boy here. And then what you go ahead and you do, and I'm not going to mess with my adjustment, but I will kind of give you the basic gist of it, is you get yourself a decent flat blade screwdriver that will fit in there fluidly, not wiggle and slip out. And you turn this, pretty much you look at your marks where you're at now, and you turn this one full turn to the right. Pretty much at that point, you turn it to the left until it gets stiff, okay? Once it gets stiff and there's resistance, you go ahead and you back this screw out 1/4 to 1/8 of a turn. So once that's done, the real fun actually begins, because if you attack this too quick, you'll lose your position. And there's all kinds of tricks. You can stick your finger in there as you're starting to turn it. If you got a small enough freaking pinky finger, you can use a smaller screwdriver and kind of hold it in place that way. Or if you're lucky enough, you can use the blade that you use to do the deed, and pretty much hold it in position after you've started this nut, and then get it seated back in there. And once you've gotten this pretty much threaded on and you're getting ready to seat it, the best practice is to pretty much go until you just have just a slight resistance, and then click your wrench back a little bit and give it one small firm little torque. Not too heavy, but enough where you just feel a little bit of a squeeze in there, and that should be good. You shouldn't have any kind of problem. You don't need any fucking Loctite. You don't need to worry about anything. That thing's on there, okay? And it's very important that you have done this in neutral, because things will just be as sloppy or unfixed or worse than they were when you started, okay? So the next thing, of course, is to assess that you are in neutral. If you're up on jack stands, you can spin your back wheels. You can do whatever you want there. Make sure, you can turn the bike on, make sure the neutral light's engaged. If you don't have a neutral light, do what you do, okay? Whatever, 2,000 ways to skin a cat. Come over here to this bad boy. I always use my back. It's, of course, shift up. Huh? You can hear it. Nice and firm in there. So that's it. That is all you need to do. And you got yourself frickin' a nice, firm transmission. Now, these transmissions are ones that you don't have a clutch. So, you know, with your brake on, if necessary, or even if your brake is off, if you're on flat ground, I would suggest starting it on flat ground. Fire it up and engage it. If it jerks, if there's any type of weird hesitation, of course, if it starts to move, that's when you start messing with your idles and you got something going on with your RPMs. But if you have any kind of weird lurch, you don't want that with these guys. That's going to wear your shit down quicker than anything. Of course, that takes some time, but, you know, if you're riding like that, you know, pretty much habitually, you're going to have problems, okay? So that's pretty much it. And maintenance done there. If you're not leaking, you don't have to worry about gaskets. Just make sure fluids are good. Everything shares. You're good to go. Peace out, folks.